Hey guys, thank you for coming to this bridal video. This last week I got to do the bridal makeup for my best friend's daughter. It was so amazing. It was a beautiful wedding. She was the most beautiful bride. I remember when she was a little girl, so it was just, to see her get married was just like the best thing ever. I love weddings. I hope you guys do too. I always cry. I cry at everything now. My video I talked about my favorite YouTubers. I told you guys I watch too many things on YouTube that make me cry, but I love it and hate it at the same time. So I did her makeup and I ended up doing this very simple, glowy, just more natural look. She originally thought she would want a big wing. There's flies flying around. I'm sorry. Like, I cannot get rid of the flies. They're bugging me, but I can't do anything about it right now. So they're just here. But anyways, she originally wanted like a big bold wing and a little more of a smoky eye. She ended up changing her mind and wanting a more natural look. And this is not what I normally do. I did a lot of things different than I normally do. And I think it turned out so beautiful for her outdoor wedding. It was outdoor in the evening, so it was still light out but not dark yet. And I just think it turned out so beautiful, so I thought I'd do this video and share with you guys all the steps that I did and the products I used to get this beautiful glowy look. I just recreated it on myself. I'll put up some pictures of the wedding and it turned out so well. If you're doing like an outdoor wedding, this is just a very classic bridal look. There's nothing too intense, there's nothing too crazy. It's hard with bridal makeup because you don't want to do anything too trendy, but you also don't want to look like, you kind of want to be with the trends and do a modern look, but you don't want anything too crazy to where you look back on your wedding pictures and you're like, whoa, what was going on with my brows? Or like, what is that highlight? Like, someone should have told me to tone it down or something. Like, you want to look back at your wedding photos forever and just think that you looked beautiful. And that's all you want, is just to be a beautiful, glowing bride, but nothing too much. Like, I didn't do any contour. I did some highlight, but very light and more blended than I'm used to. I usually do a lot of highlight. Let's be real. I like my highlight. I like my contour. I like to do a little bit bolder brows than this. I kept the brows more natural and soft. And I love a good wing. So and false lashes too. I think if this was my wedding makeup, I would add a little bit of false lash. She didn't want any. She actually has a little bit fuller lashes than I do naturally, so it worked out perfect. But I don't know, I just thought it was so different than what I'm used to and what I've done before. I've always done her makeup for like school dances and just like events like that, so we've always done a little bit more glam than this, but I just think it turned out so pretty. For daytime, I just think this is the perfect look. You can use it any season. It's just a classic, timeless, beautiful look that really will show off your features and your beauty, and you'll shine through instead of your makeup. You don't want the focus to be the makeup. You want you to be the focus. So if you want to see how I did this and what I used, let's get on into it. Alright, so I'm using the Wander Beauty Illuminating Oil to give my skin some hydration and a little shimmer. Then the Urban Decay Naked Correcting Fluid in the green to cover up my many zits, because you don't want those showing through on your wedding day especially. We want to try to get those covered. This is just some under eye kind of correcting to correct the bags. Just giving us a little brightness, and then I added the Catrice one just to brighten it a little more. I felt like it wasn't bright enough. Then taking my beauty sponge and the Urban Decay All Nighter, great trick to help your makeup last all day. through crying, cake, everything. And then my, of course, Photofocus. I still am obsessed with this foundation. I can't find anything that looks better. I always go back to this. It just looks so beautiful. So just bounce that into the skin. Make sure you're blending it out really well. Blend along the hairline. You don't want any weird lines, any weirdness going on your wedding day. You need all the pictures looking good. So just blend, blend, blend. Blend down the neck. I added a little more when I needed a little more coverage. Just all my little spots kind of peek through a little bit, so I like to do 2 layers anyways. So just make sure you build it up to the coverage you're wanting. Then taking the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, just doing a little bit under the eye. We just want to brighten it up and help cover those circles. And then I also did on top of the lids for a little eyeshadow primer, why can't I talk? Then going with the Koty Airspun powder, just dipping that a little bit on a brush, lightly going under the eye. A lot of people will crease under the eye if you have any kind of concealer or foundation under there. So just make sure you get a little bit of powder just to set that area and make sure it doesn't budge. This, taking my Dr. Bronners bar soap, wet your little spoolie brush, dig it in there, don't get clumpy. Brush through the brows. This trick is great. Whoever thought to put soap in their brows is amazing. Taking the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, such a beautiful bronzer. Just go around the edge of the face and really bronze up this complexion. Don't get too crazy trying to contour or anything, just kind of buff with a big fluffy brush. Don't use too dense of a brush or it's going to look too harsh. Now taking the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, I think it's Luminous Light, and an even bigger fluffy brush. Go all over the face. This is just going to give such a beautiful glow. The Hourglass powders just look so pretty, and they just give you this like lit from within glow that is perfect for a bridal look. Then Milani Luminoso Baked Blush, using a fluffy brush, just kind of bouncing it on the cheeks, not really rubbing. I think it just looks a lot nicer if you just kind of tap it on. And I do a lot of blush here, but blush does tend to wear off pretty quick, and it is one thing that I thought this look was, or that I really liked about this look, was the blush. Then taking the NYX eyebrow pencil and filling them in. If you have thicker brows already, the soap brow trick might be enough for you, or you might just want to fill in a little bit with a pencil. But I don't have a lot of brow hairs to begin with, so I'm doing a lot more than I did on the bride last week. I just barely did a little bit of brow pencil for her, but you do what you got to do for your brows. Just make them look good, but more natural. And I mean, you can see I'm doing a lot of this pencil, but for me, this is way, way, way more natural than I'm used to doing. So just do the pencil, then take a spoolie and brush it out. Then taking a fluffy blending brush, I brought out my MAC eyeshadows. I think this is soft brown that I'm putting on. So just taking that all over the crease, blending, blending, blending. Make sure it's very blended. We want a very blended, blown out look. Just taking that one color in the crease. Then going in with a little bit smaller blending brush. I'm not sure which shadow this is. It's a MAC eyeshadow. I think it might be Wedge, but the back I had glued a little magnet on, so I can't tell what it says, but I think it's MAC Wedge. Then going into MAC Naked Lunch. Very strange name for an eyeshadow. I don't know who goes to lunch naked, but it's a really pretty eyeshadow. It's just this soft, slightly pink, shimmery shade, but it's not too much. It just gives a little bit of reflective pinky tones on the lid, and I thought it was so pretty for this look. And my sleeve kept falling down. It was so annoying. Then going into MAC, what is that one? Mylar, I believe that is. I put it on the inner corner and it was a little much, so I kind of tapped it out with the finger just to make it a little softer. I usually do quite a heavy inner corner highlight, but that's not what I was going for this time. So just put that on there, tap it out. Taking that same color on the underneath the eyebrow for a little highlight there. Then going into the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette into the black shade, a little tiny angled liner brush, spritzed some of the setting spray on my hand, go into that shadow. You're just creating kind of like a liquid liner, but it's a lot easier than a liquid liner pen or even a gel, I find. So just go very tightly on the lash line. We barely want any liner, just to give a little bit of definition on the eyes. And for my eye shape, I did kind of, not really a wing, I just kind of flick it out ever so slightly. Most people's eye, you can just do a very thin line the whole way across. If I do that, it kind of looks funny, so I do a little bit thicker towards the outer corner, and then I give a little flick towards the outer edge, and that works pretty well for my eye shape. And make sure you get all the way in the inner corner, just the slightest tiny little line of liner. Just make sure your angled brush is very thin and you don't have like wispy hairs going on, because that's going to make it really difficult to do this. Then taking this Vichy Mineral 89, it's just this, I don't know what it is, but I love using this in my skincare routine. And what I do is I take some on the beauty sponge and just kind of bounce that on the areas of my face that I want highlighted. And I find that it just kind of blends in and melts all the makeup together that's on your face, and just gives such a, it just kind of makes your skin look a little wet and shiny, but it's not too much, and it looks so natural. And so I'm going to highlight on top of that, taking my Becca in Moonstone. I love this highlighter. Just taking that on the beauty sponge and going onto the face. There's a little fly flying around. So annoying. And I kind of went a little bit higher than I was wanting to, but just blend it out. So just take that on the cheekbones. Oh, and make sure you tap it on the back of your hand first, so you're not getting too much of the product. You want to kind of get off a lot of the excess product first when we're going in with this. And keep in mind too that this is under lights. If you're a natural light, you're going to get a lot less of this reflective. Like, it looks very reflective on my face. Also just going in with the blush again, not adding any more additional blush, just kind of going over that and making sure it's blended with the highlight. Taking the Milani No. 4 lip liner, just a nice nude lip liner. You can overline your lips a little bit. I wouldn't suggest doing anything too much, but you definitely want to line the lips. Then don't forget to highlight your collarbone. Taking that Moonstone again. You just want to give a nice reflective glowy look for all of your skin. Going in with like 100 layers of the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, because you guys know I love it. Want more and more and more of it every time. Taking the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel just to set the brows. If you have full enough, dark enough brows, you can use a clear one. The It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, you guys, oh, it's so good. Just if you're not wanting to wear falsies but you want that full volume look, I suggest using this mascara. you can just build it up and it just looks so good. I can't believe how good it looks. I haven't actually purchased one myself. I keep getting them in beauty subscriptions. Oh, got some on my lid. But I think I'm gonna have to repurchase after this one's gone because I really love it. It's crazy how good it looks. And just going in with a second coat. Kind of makes me dizzy watching myself put on mascara, especially when it's going faster than normal. Sorry about that, but what can you do? Then taking this Lorac nude gloss, any nude gloss will do. Just give you some little bit of shine. Then to add a little bit of shimmer on top of that, I used the Becca highlight in Prosecco Pop. It's a more golden tone highlight. Just took a little of that and pressed it in just the center of my lips, just to add a nice little shimmery pop. And we are done. Alright, so that is how I did this very natural bridal look. Let me know in the comments if you guys do any of this look, recreate it at all, if you're doing bridal makeup for somebody or if you're getting married. But I really wanted to show a few of the key products that I think that is just great for any bride. The first thing being the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is my favorite setting spray, just regular everyday use. Like, I feel like it makes my makeup it doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there. I love this stuff. I can't go without it. But for bridal makeup, there's nothing better. It just seals it in, especially if you do the trick where you put it on your beauty sponge. That's just going to give an extra layer of the protection and just kind of, I don't know what is in this bottle. It's got to be magic. It seals it in so it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't fade. I don't know how they do this, but it's amazing. It's magic in a bottle. And I did a bridal makeup before, not this time because they didn't smear the cake in the face. But a wedding I did before, the bride and groom, of course, they were eating the cake and they smeared it in their face. So she goes inside to wash up and I run in there like, okay, let me fix the makeup. You gotta have, there must be something. She walked out of the bathroom and it looked like nothing. And I was like, you just had frosting all over your face. Like, how is your makeup fine? Like, it's seriously like a miracle in a bottle. Yeah, you need this if you're a bride. That's one thing. Okay, hear the fly again. Next thing is the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. It's just so light and beautiful. It adds just the slightest glow and kind of just gives you a little bit of bronze without being too much. It's such a neutral tone that it's not gonna look too orangey or too red. It's just the right one. So they have several different shades. This is just bronzer. It's a great name, just bronzer. I do have the, I think, deep bronzer. I don't know if they have more than the two. They might. But it's just so beautiful and you can tell I love it because this is almost gone. But you really can't go wrong with these bronzers just to give you that little bit of, so you don't want to just look flat and pale. Like, you want to add a little dimension, add a little bronze, but nothing too crazy. I don't suggest contouring or anything like that. Just give just a little glow, and I love it. Next thing, this is probably the best, okay, besides the Urban Decay All Nighter, because that one's, they're like tied. They're tied. These two, it's like they should sell this as a bridal package. Here you go, you're a bride, you need these. The Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso, like, it's the perfect bridal blush. Like, I think this will work on literally any skin tone. Anytime I've put it on anyone, it just looks beautiful. Anytime I've ever worn this blush, I just can't believe how beautiful it looks. No matter if I have a lot of eye makeup, a little bit, if I'm doing a kind of no makeup day where I just do like a tinted moisturizer and throw some of this on. It looks beautiful with that. It looks beautiful with a full face of makeup. Like, I don't know. It's just so, it's like this, the perfect corally blush with like a little bit of sheen, shimmery like sheen to it. It's not shimmery, but it's not matte. And it's very hard to overdo it with this blush. So this is just, it's so good for brides especially. It just gives you that nice flush, like youthful glow without, it's just effortless. It's effortless blush. There you go. Next thing I wanted to talk about that's just a staple is the Becca highlights. I cannot find anything that even comes close to these, and especially now with how many highlights we have now. Every brand's coming out with highlights left and right, and you like, it's, I want to try them all, but I can't. But still, nothing comes close to these. My favorite is Champagne Pop. Today I did use Moonstone. They are pricey. I think they're $38. And the Champagne Pop, I've bought in two, and they've both broken. So I need to go buy another one, but I'm just like, oh, it's $38. I don't want to do it. But I think I will eventually because it's my favorite highlight ever still. But Moonstone, I mean, it just looks, it's just the perfect, like you can't see a stripe of highlight, but it's there. It's just kind of this lit from within glow. Oh, I love it. Those are my like staples for bridal makeup, whether you do something like this or you do a little heavier look. Yeah, I think that is it for this video. I had a lot of fun. I mean, I wish I was a bride again. I think it would be so fun. I actually want to, instead of like renewing our vows and doing a second wedding kind of thing, I've always kind of wanted to do that. I think we'll just someday like get dressed up. So I'll get a wedding dress and he'll get a tux, and like we'll go do like a wedding photo shoot, but not actually do a wedding. And I think that'll be fine for me, and way cheaper, way less stress, but you get the beautiful pictures and you get to dress up and feel like a bride again. I think I need to end this video before I just keep talking about weddings for 2 hours, because I probably would. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.